Sounds straight.
Welcome to Southland Supporters, a St. Louis City SC podcast powered by Ready to Live Wellness and coming at you from the Warrior Logo Wear studio. David Heck alongside the Monday morning center back Dave Wykoff, as Eric Cole's still out, still vacationing in the Hamptons, it sounds like. We delivered the first episode of the week where we broke down the game that was against Philadelphia, and now we will get into a little preview brought to you by STL Kalachi, as St. Louis will come back home and take on Austin FC at home Sunday at 1:15 at Energizer/City Park. Dave, I still can't stop calling it City Park. It will always be City Park to me, just like it will always be Riverport. And I think I still call it Scott Trade Center as well. But Dave, how are we this evening, sir?
We're doing fantastic. It will always be City Park. It doesn't matter what they change the name to. I refuse to change. Very boomerish of me. I get it, but yeah,
I know, man. I feel like it's happening more. I don't know if I like it or not.
You feel like you're more closed-minded now.
I think so.
That we're almost 40. And your mind is closing.
I think so.
You're set in your ways, and nobody's going to change you. That's, you know what? That's just.
I know. It's like I'm turning into my father all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on?
Bud, you find something you like and you stick with it. I'm not going to try anything other than that Bud Light, bud. Just can't do it. That's right.
Or Bud Select. He likes the AB products. We talked about that last week. Yeah, I mean, look, it's weird. Like I don't want to be like that, because I do still feel like I keep up with times and I try to evolve and stay kind of hip. But when it comes to things that I remember from my childhood, or again the way that things were once upon a time ago, not that long ago, I just have a hard time with it. Like I just can't call it Energizer Park. I don't think
it's a comfort thing, right? Like
comfort,
comfort
and
is. Safety and things that that you have always been able to lean on. They make you feel warm and fuzzy. They make you feel safe in a scary and weary world. One thing that makes me feel real safe and comfortable and just gives me the warm and fuzzies is a kolache.
I'd love to know.
I love a kolache. And when I want the warm and fuzzies from a kolache, I go to STL Kalachi in Sunset Hills, the sponsor of this week's match day 6.
Dave.
Match day 6.
6 weeks into the season.
6 weeks in. It's wild, man. Season's only going to pick up more when we start to get midweek games and all that good stuff. But STL Kalachi Sunset Hills preview for match week 6. City will take on Austin FC in a Sunday afternoon matinee, a 2-for-1. Actually, you buy your City ticket, you get a City 2 ticket, because City 2 is playing afterwards. But before we deal with that game, we've got to deal with Austin FC, who are coming off a win off a San Diego team, a tough San Diego team that City had trouble with. Austin FC dispatched them 2-1, and they sit at 3-0-2, so an undefeated team coming in. They are more like City than we really want to admit. So this game might be a tight one, might not be a whole lot of goals scored. In 5 games so far this season, how many goals would you say that you think Austin FC have scored? 5 games.
Yeah, I'm not.
They got 3 wins.
I'm not
and 2
seeing
draws.
it. Let's see this. So 3 wins and 2 draws. They have 9 points. They sit in second place. Their goal differential is +1. I'm going to say they've scored 5, maybe?
They've scored 4 goals.
No, they have not.
They've scored 4 goals. So just like
amount.
City, they've got 4 goals in 5 games. I'm not a math whiz, but it comes out to 0.8 goals a game.
It's not great.
So this one sets up to be a defensive battle, although they did appear to handle San Diego's press well enough to win and put 2 in the back of the net. So we'll have to keep an eye on whether or not they put a little bit more pressure on City. Their peripheral numbers would not suggest that. I think their possession numbers sit in the low 40s. So it's all a matter of who wants the ball less this game, right? 4 goals, you don't really have any outstanding goal scorers. You really can't at this point. But they do have a playmaker in Owen Wolf. He's got 3 helpers. Out of those 4 goals, overall they're 25th in scoring per match, and so are City with that 0.8. So this one might be ugly. It might be a slog. It might be, exactly kind of what City need as they try to find their feet offensively. Early lines are out on FanDuel and DraftKings. As you know, we do like a wager or two. The early draw no bet has City as a minus 186 favorite and Austin FC as a plus 158 dog.
That's on FanDuel.
That's on FanDuel. What are the numbers on DraftKings?
I've got minus 190 for City and plus 145 for Austin FC.
Okay.
The money. What's the three-way money line on FanDuel right now?
Oh, that's a good question. I did not look that up, or I didn't write it down at least.
City is on DraftKings. City's a plus 100, so they're even money on that, but still plus odds. So, man, to get a home. They're not a dog, obviously. They're favored, but they're just slightly favored. And to get plus money, even on a three-way money line, on a team at home, I really like that. So I think I might actually bet that this week.
Three-way, City plus 105, draw plus 230, Austin FC plus 250 on FanDuel.
That's even better, man. Like, FanDuel, I think I might start betting on FanDuel, Dave. Because I'll tell you this right now, I'm getting crushed this weekend, Dave.
You think you just need a change of scenery?
Just a change of scenery. Yeah. This March Madness thing has just murdered me this week, Dave.
Nothing humbles you like betting on individual games in March Madness.
Oh my God. It's like I can't figure it out. And you know what's weird is my bracket is doing okay. Like, it's doing okay. I'm in, like, I don't know, 5th or 6th place in one of my pools out of like a bunch of people. So I have a good opportunity to do okay in that. And I'm like, it's what's weird. I feel like I'm betting on the same teams that I picked to win. I'm just like not winning. I don't know what's going on. My account's dropping
because they're
not covering or something. I don't know what's going on, man. It is terrible. I'm getting crushed.
I don't feel like I'm good at gambling on anything, but if I had to pick one that I'm most confident in, it would be football. I feel like I have a handle on football spreads better than and not good in any means. I stay away from basketball religiously. I've had so many just horrendous beats in NBA and in college where it's your spread gets busted or your over-under gets busted by a meaningless layup or free throw in the last 5 seconds. I can't stand it. I stay away from basketball like the plague, man. It's just...
Well, it's so swingy. Like, when you think about football, right, I mean, you might have a handful of touchdowns that are scored throughout the entire game. There's a lot of baskets that are scored throughout an entire game. So, like, it is so swingy. Like, so swingy. It is hard. I like betting on it. I like betting over-unders in basketball. Maybe that's why I failed, because I've been betting on results, and it's not working out well. So, I had texted a buddy, and he made a comment about it, and I said, man, I'm going to have to reload. It's been a brutal week. He's like, the only way to get out of a slump, just keep going.
That's
man.
right.
You got to shoot to score.
That's right. Shoot or shoot.
Shoot or shoot. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. We'll reload for the Sweet 16, and we'll just get it all back because we'll go over-unders as opposed to the actual result. I like to bet corners. Dave, I did bet a parlay with corners and City to win on the game against Philadelphia, and I, of course, missed it. So, City to win or draw. So I took the the double chance option there, and I'm thinking, man, they got to draw. They got to get a goal, right? It's like just 1-1. It's fine. We'll get out of it with a point. I'll hit the parlay. There's so many corners in the game. They crushed. Like, we're going to be just fine. We just can't hit. A 2-leg soccer parlay is so hard to hit. Like, it's harder than other sports, I think. I don't know why. I can't really figure it out. But soccer is a tough sport to bet. I like it. I have had good success in some ways when I stick to single bets. But man, when I start mixing in parlays, I struggle with those quite a bit.
Yeah, it is a tough sport to bet. I do have a couple of little, they're not props, but a couple of small bets that I kind of think might be interesting. Given that both of these teams average less than a goal a game, I think the over-under at 2.5, I think the under at even money is perfect. The under 2.5 is plus 100. The over is minus 122.
Yeah, that is nice.
So I really like the under 2.5. Both teams to score, minus 152 for yes, both teams to score, plus 120 for not both teams to score. And then if you want to combine those two, so under 2.5, not both teams to score, plus 155. And my prediction this week is a 1-0 City win. So if I take a 1-0 City win, only one team to score, and then under 2.5. I don't know what that's probably in the plus 500 realm. I haven't built it yet, but that's kind of the direction I'm leaning. 1-0 City win. Somebody's got to score. Somebody has to score. It's not going to be Edward Leuven, so
He's not.
He's going to miss that match. But let's I don't know. Let's say João Klaus scores because he didn't get any opportunity. Not many touches last week, but let's give him a goal this week and a 1-0 win.
Yeah, that would be nice. If you bet at 1-0, it's plus 550 on DraftKings. Just bet it straight up.
Bet it straight up. Oh man! So if I throw in the both teams not to score
exact
and
score.
The exact score.
The correct score 1-0 is plus 550. If you said 0-0, Dave, which has happened a couple of times
plus
this season,
1,400.
we got 11. You got 1,400 on FanDuel?
I was just thinking because last week Philadelphia and City both not to score was plus 1,400.
Oh, okay, so 1,100 for this one because both teams don't score as much.
That seems you don't want to root for goals, but like both teams are averaging less than a goal a game.
I know
that's kind of I'm thinking might put a small taste on
1,100.
1,100.
I might throw a little taste.
A small taste.
That's
and parlay some corners in there.
Yeah. Oh my god. I might pay a mortgage payment.
Might be talking 20-1.
That could be amazing. There's a lot of I don't ever look at correct score, but there's a lot of good options. Like you could go 1-0, you get 550, 0-0, 1,100. You go 2-0, 1,400 on that if you went 2-0. 2-1, 600. You could I don't know. There's a lot of ways you could go there.
Yeah, I don't hate I don't hate the correct score bet.
That's a hardcore DGen move. I feel like, but kind of fits the.
Not as hardcore as the Asian handicap, which, by the way,
we learned about.
We got a Reddit, and this we're not pushing into the Felix's Pizza Pub South End submissions, but when we put out on Reddit today on the city Reddit, not our Reddit, looking for submissions, we got the end of this one from Away Evening 7447. At the end of their submission, they mentioned also Asian handicap plus 2.75. Half your money is on the over of 2.5 goals. The other half is over 3 goals. Need 4 goals to win full bet. 3 goals, you win half the bet. The other is a null, and you get it back. There you go.
Yeah. I like that. I mean, it seems safe.
Yeah.
It seems safer to do it that way.
Yeah.
So the Asian I might start betting Asian handicaps now because of Away Evening 7447. It was Spursy that originally talked about the Asian handicap.
Spursy,
and I saw it. I'm like, I don't know what that is. It seems confusing.
He didn't give credit to all of Asia though, just China. But
yeah. Oh, did he? He called it
the Chinese handicap. So
That's right.
We'll go with the Asian handicap for our
Well,
friends.
I've been curious about that for a really long time. It's the only sport that I've seen it in. I've not paid attention to other ones potentially, but the Asian handicap for soccer 2.75. Okay, maybe you know what, Dave? I'm going to throw in an Asian handicap bet on this Austin FC game against St. Louis on Sunday. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it's coming.
I think Away Evening 7447 would like that.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Dave, predictions for this one.
1-0 City.
That's right, 1-0 City.
1-0 City.
God, 1-0 City. I was wrong last week. I said 2-1. I think they're going to score. Dave, I think they're going to score. I think goals are coming. I think it's going to rain goals at
You're going to make
Park.
it rain?
I think so because, look, this is such a hard sport to predict. I've said it so many times. The any given Saturday, any given Sunday theory here, it's just like there's so many things that can happen. And, it's like anytime you think you've kind of got it figured out, it just seems to have a way to change everything up. So I think there's going to be goals. I think we're looking at a 2-1, maybe a 3-1. I'm going to say 3-1 City here. I think we're going to score. I think it's going to be a lot of goals. I think Klaus is going to get it figured out. I think Betcher is going to get figured out. I think Marcel Hartl is going to get it figured out. And this team's going to score.
That's
3-1.
That's 3.
3-1. One of those guys for sure is scoring. So if you are betting at home, we do not solicit betting advice on this podcast, Dave. But I think it's safe to just say one of those 3 guys are going to score. Look at the starting lineup, see who's in it, see where they're playing at. They're not maybe all 3 going to be on the field at the same time, but one of them will be up top. Whoever that person is up top, Teutschert or Betcher or Klaus, or if you want to say, look, Leuven's out, maybe we get a free kick goal or a PK.
Yeah.
Who's going to take that PK, right? It's going to be Hartl probably.
Yeah, it's Hartl.
Leuven out. So Hartle is a good choice, I think, to score a goal. We're due for a PK, Dave.
We are due.
I think Hartle does that silly little run-up thing that he does, and he puts one in the back.
Got to get the ball in the box, other team's box, to do that. So let's
do
that first.
Do that.
So
they did it a couple of times last week.
So you're going your Asian handicap bet then is 3.75.
No, 2.75.
Well, you said 3-1.
I know, but it's got to be over 3 to get the whole thing. So they got to score 4.
Go 3.75 then.
Then I would only get half.
I don't understand.
I don't either. I don't get it. Away evening. I'm not betting it anymore. I don't know what it means. I give up. No more Asian handicap. It was fun while it lasted.
Was fun while it lasted.
The STL Kalachi match week preview, 15:30 South Kirkwood Road in Sunset Hills. Before Lent is over, are they going to do away with the crab rangoon kolache after Lent is over?
We'll have to talk to Eric about it. I want to see what the actual demand of it actually has been. But, I mean, you would think that if the demand not on Fridays was high, then you might keep it around.
Are they doing it every day, or is it only on Fridays?
I assumed it was just every day. I'll have to talk to EC. We'll see.
God, I got to get one, dude. I got to get one before they run out. That's going to be a big miss. I'm going to think about that in like November or December. If I don't get one, I'm going to be kicking myself.
Yep, one of your real regrets in life is that you'd never had a crab rangoon kolache.
I know. Maybe he'll make us a special batch for cuties and carts eating kolaches.
That would be awesome. He's a good guy. He
would be nice.
He just might.
Moving on into the Felix's Pizza Pub South End submissions. Find Felix at 6401 Clayton Avenue in Dogtown. I'm sure that place was packed this weekend on Saturday night as City took on Philadelphia. Hey, there's a home game coming up on Sunday, but it still will be a great place to go check out that game. If you don't have tickets to get into City Park, you want to just hang out, drink some beers, eat some amazing pizza, check out Felix's, go talk to Carmen and the staff down there. It is a great place to watch a game, either away or home, and looking forward to getting back down there for a watch party. We've been talking about doing it, Dave, one of these days.
We're going to make it happen.
Another watch party.
Things are moving in the background. You want a pairing, you want a perfect pairing for a City game at Felix's Pizza Pub. You get some of those hot wings, you get the jalapeno ranch drizzle, you get a slice of the Dogtown, and you match it all up with a mango cart. That's the way to go.
Good.
That's the way to go.
So
a couple mango carts do just fine.
You know, when I go to Felix's and I get wings, I like to order all drumsticks, Dave. I like to order all drummies. Pay a little extra, but it's worth it because it's more meat.
Certainly a choice. I would never. Because
as he points to the team flat.
Team flats till I die.
Points to the team flat.
Team flats till I die. But that's
I've got my team drummy flag. I need to put stuff on my wall. You and Eric got all sorts of good stuff behind. I just have this plain wall here,
just plastered up behind you. Just crudely.
I need to have you come and decorate my office for me. You've got a nice one.
Decorate yourself. Decorate your own stuff.
I don't want
I'm
to.
too busy.
Felix's Pizza Pub.
I'm busy with these South End submissions. I can't be
South End submissions. You got a lot of it.
I
Reddit's
do.
Been hot.
And due to the nature of how this recording session came together, we didn't get out early enough on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, so we were strictly Reddit. But luckily, Reddit delivered. Shout out to the actual STL City SC subreddit because that's where most of this came. We got 41 likes. 41 likes,
wow.
DH.
That seems like a lot.
It was strong. So these are a combination.
Go back. That's way more. That's way more engagement than the Facebook posts get typically.
This is the most. I mean, engagement on Reddit has been increasing. So this is a really good. Yeah. It's a good subreddit too for the most part. Let's see. So this is a combination of, I just threw it out there. I said, let's talk about it. What makes you worried? What makes you frustrated? So this is a combination of actual questions and then just comments. So I will filter them as I go and try to give love to these, we don't call these screen names, these Reddit names. What do we call them?
I'm not a Redditor, but I've been on Reddit, of course, but I don't use Reddit, right? Like some people, I don't know what they call it. Reddit handles, maybe?
Yeah, let's call it Reddit handle. That's a good call. Okay.
Handle? Yeah.
So our first one is a comment from Tobin Santos, and their comment was, the bad thing is we played better after the red card, and I agree. The immediate 15 minutes after Leuven was sent off for a second yellow was probably the best spell overall of possession they had the whole time. I don't know what to attribute that to other than just desperation, and that in the fact that Leuven was really kind of struggling with his form. So I don't know what your thoughts are. Did you think they played better after the red?
It's funny. I think a lot of teams play better after reds. I don't know why that is. If teams just like inherently park the bus after, especially when you're up.
Yeah, if
and
you're up,
it's like,
different.
we're up.
Yeah.
We're up, and it's like, we've got it's late, now we're up a man too. I don't know. But I really do think that teams a lot of times, for whatever reason, seem like they play better. There's just more intensity, or more like this feeling of like an urge to advance the ball forward, and now all of a sudden they're just, I don't know, they look more in sync offensively. I do feel like that sometimes. Maybe that's just my utter lack of knowledge of the game, but I thought they looked better. Yeah, I do. But again, I don't think that.
Yeah, if you're down, you got nothing else to lose, right? You're down 1-0 already. Why not play desperate and try to even it up and then try to see it out? So no, I think you're onto something there.
Good.
Next is from Snarf12. Awesome name.
Snarf.
I don't know about Reddit flair. They always have these Reddit handles, and then they have these little things underneath them. So this is Snarf12, and their flair says Hellbenders. So Hellbender, obviously, the bar in City Park. Just sort
it's
of
Hellcat, Dave. Hellcat.
Well, what the hell? Oh, Hellbenders. Hellbenders. I don't know what that is then.
I don't either.
Maybe that's an aspiring SG. Just sort of a bad night against the pressing team again. The big concern is not seeing consistent connections on the field. Totally agree with that. That then build up the frustration. Curious how the team would have looked had they not conceded so early and then not have had to play the second half down a man. Would like to see Ostrak get a good chunk of time next week with Leuven out. And Betcher and Teutschert is not the combo to start games. Klaus and Teutschert need to pair again, with Betcher coming in at like 60. I'll address that first. I totally agree with that. I think that's when Betcher is most effective, when he comes in late. And I think Klaus and Teutschert is a better pair.
You're saying start Klaus,
yes,
don't start Betcher.
Start Klaus, bring Betcher in if you have to bring him in like that. Ostrak with a good chunk of time next week. Yeah, I think I agree. I'm really curious as to see if that will be the pivot, or if the pivot is to put Morales in as a starter and then maybe sub him off for Ostrak later, or bring Ostrak in because he brings a little more quality in the middle. It's interesting. It's not something that we've had to see Olaf deal with yet, is missing a key piece like Leuven, right? Like he's going to be missing Tots and obviously Berkey, but center of the park, really interesting. What are your thoughts on the forward combo?
Yeah, I go back and forth on it. I really do like Betcher. I think he's been good. Not as great this year as he was towards the end of last year, but nobody has been. And Klaus included in that, at times. So I just, I don't know, man. Like, I personally like when they do 4-2-3-1s. I like playing, and if it's Betcher, if it's Klaus, whoever, bringing in either one of them off the bench. I don't know if I care as much. I don't like them paired together. Like, I don't like the idea of playing two forwards. I thought I would. I always thought it's like, oh, more offense. It sounds good, but I don't know if it necessarily translates that way for City for whatever reason. Yeah. And I don't know the tactics and the formation, but I do like Teutschert on the field. I like Hartl on the field. I like Betcher or Klaus on the field. I don't like them both together, and I think when you have one of them not playing in the starting 11, it opens up the door to bring one of them on, and then it adds some firepower off the bench. If that's Betcher, it's Betcher. If it's Klaus, it's Klaus. I think I'm indifferent on it. I just don't want to see them paired together.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably the feeling of a lot of people, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Next is from Steaks and Scalpels. Absolutely fantastic name.
Scalpels?
Steaks and Scalpels, baby. This is the Reddit world, man. You got to spend more time on Reddit. It is a wild spot. Man. Funny thing is,
are you cutting the steaks with the scalpel, you think?
I don't feel like that would work. Maybe it's
curious about that one.
Maybe I don't know. That's a good one. We need a follow up. I will comment to this person asking if they're cutting their steak with a scalpel.
Thank
I'll make
you.
sure to
Please
do that.
do.
And we'll get back to that next week. The comment. Funny thing is, you can get a yellow for kicking the ball away after a whistle, but if you go down and roll around acting like you're going to die for several minutes and get the play stopped, but then get up and keep playing like nothing happened, it's perfectly acceptable. one of the worst things about soccer. I got nothing. That is
Dude,
that's the perfect response.
So spot on. Yep. Look, it is something that I have harped on for a long time, right? And this has nothing to do with the actual game. And people that have listened to this podcast since we've come out with it, going on 3 years now at this point, which is nuts. I did not grow up playing the game. I did not really watch the game outside of World Cups until about 2020 or 2021, somewhere in there. And that was strictly because, A, we got a team that was announced that was coming to St. Louis, and B, I like betting on it. I've always enjoyed it. And like getting up early Sunday morning, watching EPL matches before football, like leading into it, it made this like long, like super sports day. It was a lot of fun. I like it.
Yep.
So that's the only time, that's the only reason really why I started watching it. Then I started watching it and I was like, this is great. It is great. Like the sport at its core, for what it is, I enjoy thoroughly. As an outsider to the game, right? Like, and that's what I am still. Though I have been welcomed in by the soccer community and I appreciate it, that's the worst part of the game. And I think everybody agrees with it. And it's like, why can't you just fix it? Why can't you just make it go away? Like, make it punitive. I agree completely with my boy Stakes and Scalpels, because it's like, to his point, if you kick the ball out of play or kick it away and you get a yellow for that, but you can go down, and like there's VAR for this, right? And you can take a look and see if a red card should have been given. You can't go back and review a yellow card. But if you go back and review a red card, you know, it would only take a couple of reviews and a couple of punitive like cards to eliminate the flopping, I think, to do away with it almost completely. And maybe it's so ingrained in the culture and that's just the way it is, but I would think that there's something that could be enforced there. When a guy goes down and he's clearly not hurt and he's clearly time wasting, you see it. And you see non-contact stuff where guys sit down and hold their hamstrings or hold their calves or whatever late in a game. They're cramping up. And I get it. Things happen. But it always seems to happen only to the team that's winning whenever that happens, right? I think they should do something about it. I don't know what the answer is. I've got ideas there. But, man, it is the hardest thing to watch about the sport. And part of it is because there's a running clock and it never stops. And so you don't see it in other sports because the clock stops. So there's really no benefit to doing it. But in soccer, it doesn't. It keeps running. And as long as it's not enforced, people are going to continue to take advantage of it.
Yeah, they have altered the rules a little bit to address the amount of time that players spend down on the floor. And also wanted to point this out. This is a feature of the men's game, not the women's game. The women don't flop.
So
the women don't flop.
My wife will say.
Yep.
So when I sit in 149, my wife played college soccer. Brittany Reeder, who sits behind us, who I went to school with, coincidentally, right? Crazy story there. Brittany and I went to high school together. We graduated. And then opening day 2 years ago, I happened to look back and see her, and I'm like, oh, my God, Brittany, like, you know, we talked a lot. Now we have season tickets, right, in front of one another. Or I sit in front of her, right? She sits right behind me. And her husband, Phil, is there, who played soccer as well. Brittany played in college, too. And Sarah and Brittany will go on rants about the men's game during games. A lot of times when this happens, they're like, this does not happen with women.
They're not wrong. It doesn't happen with women. It doesn't happen with the youth girls. It happens with the youth boys, and it happens all the way up to the ranks. So,
I mean, when you think about it, like I watch a lot of baseball, I watch a lot of basketball, I watch a lot of football, and my son happens to play all those sports. So when you watch baseball now, you see all the drip that these guys got in the major leagues. It trickles down. All the young kids got the sliding mitt. You know, they've got the batting gloves, the Jacks or the Bruce Bolt batting gloves. They're wearing their pants a certain way. The kids like the dirty mids, Dave, as they say it now. Not too high, not too low, just showing a little bit of sock. Football, you know, a lot of guys are wearing the scrunchy sock now because that's been prevalent in the NFL. They've got the towels. You know, the quarterback's got the hand warmer. Basketball, a lot of the kids are wearing like the one-legging look, you know, taking a page out of Giannis's book. So it translates down. So when kids are watching the professional game, they're going to act like the professionals, and that's why you see it at the youth level.
Yeah, they've like I said, they've done some things to address the amount of time that players spend on the field. I think some leagues have gone to, like, if you need medical attention, if the trainers come out, then you have to go sit out for a couple minutes, like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So there's no way to completely eliminate it. I mean, referees are already encouraged to yellow card for simulation, but the reward for simulation in a box that leads to a PK is greater than the punishment of a yellow card, even with the intervention of VAR, which can go back and look and say, hey, that guy dove, go back and give him a yellow. But it is what it is. So
I want to ask a question here, because, and this is similar, like it's on a similar line as I think that the who was it that submitted that? Was that Snarf Snarf?
That was Stakes and Scalpels.
That was Stakes and Scalpels. Okay.
Yeah.
It's similar questioning to what he had asked there, but when I think about like cards, and I feel like, so like we saw Leuven, his first yellow card, he wrapped the guy up and took him away, and you would say like, tactical yellow, good yellow, like it stopped the run.
Can I tell you that I don't think that was a good yellow?
Okay,
I think that was stupid. Fine. I think it's stupid to. I don't mind a tactical yellow. Excuse me. I think it's stupid to try not to make the tackle and win the ball, and to just accept that you got to pull a guy down by his shoulders. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, okay. So good point, right? So, but my question is more along the lines of the tactical yellow, because it does interrupt progress of play, and that's why the yellow is given, because you're essentially eliminating a scoring chance for the other team. I don't feel like the yellow card, and this goes back to the wasting time as well, like I don't feel like it's punitive enough. I think there's two things in the sport rule-wise, and this is going to open up a whole new conversation, but I would love to get like a hardcore soccer, what I would say like aficionado in yourself, perspective on this. And you can call me stupid, Dave. I don't care. You've done it before.
I would never.
Well, you certainly have.
No.
And some of the listeners might disagree with this too. But one of the things that I think about with this sport is that there's two things. One, fouls inside the box or handballs inside the box, especially when they're inadvertent or don't necessarily have to do with the play itself, I think are almost too punitive at times, because a PK is so hard to stop. And I think really aggressive fouls that are taking away from the play, such as wrapping a guy up when he's on a clear break or whatever it may be, are like not punitive at all. Like you get a yellow, whatever, okay, you can sub that person out later on, or they just are on good behavior the rest of the game. And typically, like most of the time, guys that have one yellow don't get a second yellow. It happened, I get it, but there were other yellows given and nobody else got a second to eventually lead to a red. So I know they've implemented things like this in like indoor soccer, and this is where it's going to be like people hardcore soccer people are going to be like, this guy's take on this sucks, and I recognize it. But like the blue card mentality, or like, hey, if you do something like that, you've got to play a man down for a handful of minutes, like you're in the penalty box almost in hockey. I just feel like just giving a guy a yellow that clearly impeded play and didn't allow a person to have the opportunity to score. In hockey, right, you're off the ice for a couple of minutes, and you got to play a man down. I just feel like it should be more punitive than just giving somebody a yellow card in that situation. The
answer is the sin bin, like they do in rugby when you get a yellow. Rugby has yellows and reds too. Red for serious foul play, yellow for reckless play. That's the answer. You go off for 10 minutes. I think it's 10 minutes in rugby, rugby union, maybe not sevens. It could be both. But yeah, you go sit for 10 minutes, and that's the answer. I mean, that if you want to make all yellows punishable by 10 minutes in the sin bin, then I'm all for that. Absolutely.
So it's not a stupid take then, Dave?
No, I don't think so. I think it's not stupid. That it's just funny that you use indoor soccer. But yeah, they have the 2-minute penalties in indoor soccer.
I didn't know they had them in rugby. So that's
I think with the length of game and the running clock, the 10-minute penalty, 10-minute sin bin makes more sense than 2, because
whatever
2 minutes is like half an attack in soccer,
Right. Yeah. And I don't necessarily mean 2 minutes. Like it could be whatever you throw out. Whatever.
But your
time.
idea,
I just feel like
your idea.
If you do something like that, it should be more punitive than just a yellow.
Yep. Agreed. No, that's great stuff. Okay. Awkward Mongoose 7679.
Reddit names are awesome.
Really, and a lot of these are just comments now, so we just run through a couple of these. Really disappointing showing. The team felt out of sync for most of the game. hoping this was an off day, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned with what we saw. I think we've kind of echoed that, right? Like bad habits build, trends are what they are. Really would like to see a bounce back against Austin to where you kind of get rid of some of those concerns on the offensive side of the ball. Here's a fairly normal one, Dave. McGee 331. Good goalkeeping alone can't win games. The attacking pair remain a major problem for City. I'm not sure how this is not extremely obvious with how the rest of the MLS are spending on attackers and the lack of goal output since last year. It's a really good point about the amount of spending. I think that City are like most small market expansion teams, and then you're not going to see them go out and spend big money on international strikers, maybe for at least a couple years until you kind of figure out where they fall in terms of revenue. I think this is going to be, we've kind of talked about this before, you're going to have to home grow a lot of these players and pick up guys on good deals and hope that you can find diamonds in the rough out of Europe. So I don't think this is ever going to be a big spending team.
And I don't know if it has to be either. I do think there's something to having the low ego. You don't see a lot of it on this team, I think. Low ego, low attention getters. Even the strikers seem to be pretty solid, just team players overall. I think there's something to that, and having the camaraderie, the chemistry that goes along with that. You could go out and get a high priced talent that could be a cancer to the club as well.
Yeah.
So I think that there's something to be said about that. And to be honest, I hate to say this, but that's just kind of the way St. Louis is about things right now in general, right? I mean, you're seeing it in other sports too. And I don't know if it's like this as much in soccer, but I think it's hard sometimes to attract top talent here. You think about what Miami's doing. I mean, it's pretty easy to say, I'm going to leave my European club and head over to Miami. That sounds like a fun place to be. It seems like it would be fun to go to L.A. How do you attract top talent to come here? I don't know. But regardless, I do think there's an opportunity to leverage the talent that you have. It's got to fit a specific system. That's the other thing. It's specific. And if you've got the people that can do it, then more power to you. I think this team can score. They proved it last year. I stand by that. 5 games in at this point. I'm not ready to give up on things. I think there's still an opportunity for them to find the back of the net plenty. They did it last year a lot with this group. So let's see what happens. Half the season goes by and we're still struggling with the same things, then maybe we'll I don't know. Maybe we'll start to get on the same page there, I guess.
Yeah. The good news is it is extremely early days, and you've got plenty of time to figure things out. You don't have a lot of extra games where you don't have the time on the training field. So
and you're still towards the top of the table. You're not that far out, right? It's you're still there.
Well, what did we say? How many points we'd be comfortable with City getting out of the first 5 games and feel like they said, I got a chance. I think most of us said 7 or 8. What did they pick up?
You're right there.
They picked up 8. There you go. Yeah. So I think you're in a good spot. Bohr MRC, this from the St. Louis City Punks. Shout out to the Punks. Leuven's red was really dumb. You're on a yellow and you just kick the ball away like that. Just a poor match all around. Lunt was the star boy. I think we've touched on all that, so no need to kind of rehash that. Poor decision.
Is that Bohr like B-O-R-E or Bohr like B-O-A-R?
B-O-A-R.
Oh.
Bohr MRC with the Punks.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Away Evening 7447, who we heard from. We were talking about the Asian handicap in the Tuesday episode. This is the first half of Away Evening 7447 submission. Seemed like a similar lineup to when facing San Diego. That game and this, we only had about 5 shots. A game compared to others with double digits. Hope to see Olaf figure out a good attacking lineup up top. Yeah, couldn't agree more. It's about finding out what the best combination of offense fits with this new absorbing pressure style. So thank you for your major contributions to this podcast, Away Evening 7447. We hope you become a regular contributor and listener.
Especially if he wants to talk more about Asian handicaps, because I have some more questions about this. I have some more questions. I'm not completely locked into this just yet.
We still can't totally wrap our heads around it. So
you know what? Come find me on Sunday in section 149, and
there you go.
Pull out the phone and explain this to me.
I love it.
That would be great.
All right, Champagne, and this is Shampain. How about that?
Wow.
Champagne 413. I was at the game. It was it was reffed. I think they're supposed to say it was reffed pretty consistently. Biggest flopper by far was Hartle. We played like whiny brats. That's a strong take. I don't necessarily disagree with all that. I thought Hartle had a brutal game. I don't know if he was flopping too much. I can remember one instance where he went down and it was kind of like, okay, dude, get up. But yeah, he had a tough game. Champagne 4-1-3. You get a lot of downvotes on that one.
Really?
On that comment.
People didn't like it.
Yeah. People don't
that's
like
the thing
negativity.
when people post on. Well, they should join the Facebook page then because that's loaded with it. I don't know. I'm not a City apologist at all. I don't know if I saw it as much. I don't think he played very well. I would agree with that. I thought there was much more flopping going on the Philadelphia side than St. Louis. That was my perspective. Maybe I'll go back and watch it, and I could be swayed on that a little bit. But Dave, you said it. Like, we were texting back and forth during the game and just talking about how Hartle just did not look very good. And, I'm not sure he's looked great this season to this point. So hopefully things get figured out there.
It looks like he's lacking confidence, weirdly. Like last year, I feel like he came in with so much swag, and it's like now, like he's missed a couple of really simple like shots on goal from dangerous areas where he's not even putting them on frame. I don't know, man. And maybe it's just a little bit of confidence. Maybe he's just pressing a little bit at this point.
He's getting a PK this week, though, Dave. He's going to get some of that confidence.
He is getting a PK this week. So, and hopefully he scores. We will wrap up this edition of the Felix's Pizza Pub South End submissions with two from one of our favorite listeners, one of our favorite submitters. They call me Sly Fox. Hashtag all.
I think the GOAT.
DH's GOAT. These are two so good. Oh man, I don't even know which one I want to start with. Okay, I want to start with B. Okay. God, these are good. Which lesser known / lower profile sport would you swap into March Madness, i.e., curling, badminton, bowling, etc.? I know your answer.
I know
your answer. I know your answer.
I do love curling.
Based on recency bias, though.
Recency bias, man. I do love curling. Curling's fun.
Can I take a shot here?
What do you think?
Handball.
Man, handball's awesome. Handball's awesome. The thing is, like, they have tournaments for them, right? Like, they're in the Olympics, so they are,
March
essentially
Madness
tournaments, right?
Oh my God.
March Madness of handball would be sweet. Man, that's a good question. Dave, you ever watch this sport? It's just so obscure, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I also don't understand the rules to it completely, but it's like kabaddi.
Yes.
You ever heard of this?
Yes. Is that the one where it's like it almost looks like tag, where it's like everybody has to stay connected and they're like rocking back and forth? Yes. Yes, I have.
But then they tackle each other. Yeah. Like, I don't like. So
yeah.
it's like
you have to run to the other side and touch their side and then get back to your side before being like tackled. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That pops up on ESPN Plus at 7 in the morning on Saturdays sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's my answer, but that just made me think of it. That's
really
a fun
good.
one. Yeah, any tournament, any tournament is exciting. So if it could get the coverage, man, handball is pretty awesome. It's a fun sport. I like that a lot.
What about? I was thinking, if we're going obscure, like doubles ping pong. Like doubles ping, like doubles, yeah. Dude, college. I mean, I'm sure they already have it, right? Like they have to have, they have to have something like that. But I think that would get really intense. You know what I would like to see? I guess it's more of an obscure sport, not really in this country. Rugby sevens. Rugby sevens in a March Madness style bracket would be pretty
rugby
sick.
Sevens. When you think about I haven't watched a lot of rugby. I have watched sevens before because it is in the Olympics, and I like it's more fast paced than like traditional rugby.
Yeah.
They probably play it on a smaller field, I would think.
No, same size.
Same size?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
it's same
dude.
size field. That's why there's so much scoring.
That is so brutal.
Yeah.
That's fun. Like, did you watch any wrestling at all?
Oh yeah. Did you see who got upset?
The Gable Stevenson match?
Yes.
That was
insane.
Insane.
Yes.
Like the way that happened at the end where Wyatt Hendrickson, got that reversal to score. Like that was so incredible. I was like flipping back and forth between that and basketball last night, and I got into it quite a bit. My son wrestles, so he was watching some of it as well. It was just a lot of fun, but that's one that I wish got more attention. I think it does. It's like pretty niche, but like again, any tournament, man, I like going back to the Pride days where you had the fighting
Grand Prix.
tournaments.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
the Grand Prix. Yeah.
Yes.
That was fun. You give me 64 of anything, and they're competing, I'm probably going to watch it and find a way to bet on it.
The more
as well.
obscure, the better, too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That was a great one.
I like it.
But Sly Fox was not done. How about that? Sly Fox
Never
had a
is.
two-parter. And this kind of goes in with the whole Philadelphia and all the It's Always Sunny stuff that I've been just spamming our socials with the last 4 days. Who is which Always Sunny character among the three hosts? I feel like this one might turn into a fight, like a physical fight.
Oh, my God. That's a really good question. Man, I think that I don't know. There's all kind of despicable humans. So I'm not sure. I don't even want to say.
All right. Eric is Mac.
Okay. Why is Eric Mac?
Eric's Mac because Mac, especially later, It's Always Sunny Mac, is really like all about focused on like working out and kicking ass.
Yeah.
And
Not Fat Mac.
No, not Fat. That's definitely not Eric. Eric is not Fat Mac. No, Eric
I can
is
get on board with that.
Eric is Mac. Man, old DH is Charlie.
Yeah, 100%. I used to be Charlie, for sure.
Just living in squalor.
For sure. There's no.
A lot of things
question.
are so inside that we talk about that it really is unfortunate. But I don't even care. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't love like early 20s me a lot.
Oh, I do. I do.
Man, I don't know, dude.
I miss him. I miss him so much.
I don't know. A lot of that's not ready to be aired out on podcasts.
But yeah. I would say, that's a good shout for her. And then 30s DH is more Dennis. Like Dennis is more like coiffed and like cares about his appearance more, but also is a little bit more sadistic. Kind of like
I don't like that either. They're all so terrible.
That's not part of your personality. You're not a methodic serial killer. I'm totally just kidding about that. But the whole Dennis is very much about his appearance, and he dyes his hair black because he wants to look like Superman. But you don't have your hair dyed black, but
I'm very gray.
You're very gray. Silver Fox. You might be Sly Fox.
I might be Sly Fox.
Yeah. So yeah.
What does that make you, Frank? Then?
Oh, I wish. Oh my God, I wish I was Frank. No, because I don't. Man, this is one for after dark for sure. Because I can't say a lot of the things that Frank likes to do, and
right.
I've never dabbled in what Frank likes to do. I don't do cocaine to start every morning. I don't like girls like Roxy. The pros and Frank has a much better word than pros for me than I do. God, I don't know, man. I like you said, I don't want to be any of them.
Frank is so depraved. They're all kind of bad characters. For sure. I made the kids a grilled Charlie one time. Do you remember the episode where they make grilled Charlies?
Is that with Spam and peanut butter?
No, it's like
no, that's the one where it has peanut butter on the outside, cheese on the
outside, and cheese on the inside. Yeah. Dude, that was a very messy thing to make. But I was like, hey, I've got this new sandwich. Like, I need you to eat it. And they were pretty bothered by it. But
I feel like we're all more like the peripheral characters. None of us are that like really depraved. And
nobody is.
I used to listen to their podcast, and unfortunately, they got so bored with doing it. It was fantastic. It was really.
It was good. It was really good.
But it was another thing for them to do, so that just sort of ended, which is perfect for them.
Yeah.
But one of the things that they talked about was how all of the all the ancillary, like a lot of the ancillary characters, not the actual not like Rickety Cricket and like Ben the Soldier and not those and the waitress, like those people are all wrapped up in the depravity. But like when they bring in like a one-time person who's like a news anchor or somebody who they run into business, a lot of the times they'll say things like, what's wrong with you people? And that's like the general narrative of how society should view people like that. But they're so wrapped up in their world and their malignant narcissism that those people are the weird ones. right?
I
so
know.
I feel like we're more on the periphery of that,
I hope to God we are. My favorite one is the lawyer they run into a few times.
Yes, but even they get to him though. Like it's after a while, like even he gets so enraged because they're so hard to deal with that he loses his mind, and then he's hell bent on revenge against them. It's such a good show, and it really, you see the generalizations where it's like Seinfeld on crack. I don't even think it does it justice. I think Curb Your Enthusiasm is much more like Seinfeld on crack. It's Always Sunny is just so off the reservation that I don't know that it compares to anything. And you don't want to be like any of those characters.
No, the Seinfeld characters are, they're not great humans, but they're not even close.
They're self-centered, but they're not like criminal psychopaths. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And what's really funny about that show is like they always portrayed Charlie as being like the biggest like loser and always like this dirt grub and all this. But like when you really boil them down, he's really the most normal of all of them. He's just a weird guy.
Yeah.
But he's not. He's just a weird guy that he does stalk a woman. So there's just no upside. There's no upside here in labeling yourself or any of us as any of these people. So
what's your favorite episode, Dave?
Oh my God, man! There's one that I watch probably more than any. It's Old Lady House. That was in like season 8 or season 9, where they start recording Mac and Charlie's moms because they're like abusing each other, and it turns into like a sitcom, and they start to add like laugh tracks, and that one's a really good one.
I love the Nightman Cometh. The musical episode.
That one is outstanding. Yeah,
so good.
Yeah, there's some good early ones too that kind of fly under the radar. Like the Patty's Billboard one was the first one I ever saw. I think you and Ben were watching that one at the house on Angela, or maybe you and Alex. Something like that. And I sat down, I'd never seen this show before, and I watched it, and I laughed my ass off. And I went out and bought seasons 4, 5, and 6 like immediately. So
on DVD.
Yeah. Oh, God, DVD.
AK is the one that got me interested in the show to begin with. I never watched it before.
That makes a lot of sense. So shout out for sure. Yeah. But that's a great question, Sly Fox. Like great
it is
stuff,
good,
man.
and it made us think. And I'm going to immediately become a better human after that one. I think that's my
just to
my
not
goal
be
coming
one of those
up.
people. Yeah, absolutely.
At South End Submissions, brought to you by Felix's Pizza Pub at 6401 Clayton Avenue in Dogtown, as they do every single week. And, of course, want to make sure we give a shout-out to all of the other sponsors here. Warrior Logo Wear, 12 East Main Street in Muscuda. They are our studio sponsor as well as the official outfitter of South End Swag. So check out Warrior Logo Wear at 12 East Main Street in Muscuda. For St. Louis Kolache at 1530 South Kirkwood Road in Sunset Hills. They bring you the match week preview every single week as City will take on Austin at home in a matinee of sorts at 1:15 p.m. kickoff, taking place at City Park this Sunday coming up. And it's a twofer. It's a twofer, Dave. So you come into the City game, you get to stay for City too. I did not know that. It is very exciting. It should be a very nice crowd there for the City 2 match. And then, of course, our title sponsor, Ready to Live Wellness at 1530 South Kings Highway Boulevard. If you are looking to get swole like Eric Cole, you've got to check out Ready to Live Wellness. For the Monday morning center back, Dave Wykoff, for Eric Cole, who is still vacationing in the Hamptons. My name is David Heck. You've been listening to South End Supporters. We'll see you next week. And until then, let's go City.